For those of you who give too much and give automatically, without thinking it through, without having choice, we're going to give you choice back. See, how do you unbind all these things? You do it through using the elements we're teaching you. Okay, so altered state. Do we understand altered state? What are some of the... When we design an altered state to do magic, we want to get rid of helplessness. We want to design in a state where we believe anything is possible. Correct? Would that be a good one? How about that we have the power to do our will? Anything possible. Power to do will. Clarity. I think those are useful for any working, but guess what? It also depends on what kind of working you want to do. If you want to do a cleansing working where you're banishing things and destroying things, you want to get in some energy of ferociousness, don't you? Wouldn't that make sense? Yes? So how do you get that? Through symbol. Symbol is a powerful way to unbind all those things that have kept you bound. Because symbol contains a lot of meaning. Yes, you bind it in the first place on some level symbolically anyway. So you don't view women as women. You view them as symbols of all the suffering you've had in the past. You don't see men as men. You see them symbolically as all the suffering you've had in the past. So we're going to use the same thing to symbolically unbind it. Does that make sense? This is making a lot of sense to you, isn't it? Do you have magic in your background? Have you studied any of this before?
I studied a lot of myth.
Myth. Well, myth is just a symbol that's been culturally transmitted to an entire culture. Yes?
Is there another word besides magic you can use?
Make one up. Yates would like me to use it. I don't know. What would you like to call it? Thalamic, nonlinear change inducement technologies. Nonlinear change inducement technologies. TMR. All rights reserved. I don't know.
He's been coming to my work for a long time talking to me about magic, and I've studied some of this stuff before, but not knowing that it was this you were talking about. You just say magic, so I thought it was just magic. I didn't know what the heck you were talking about.
Well, magic you thought like pull a rabbit out of my ass.
I thought like tricks and everything else,
like
but I never knew what you were talking about.
What did you think I meant? Pull a rabbit out of my hat? Or
yeah,
oh.
like stuff
well,
like
so
that.
now you can just let go of all that. Oh, you know what? Spell it magic with a K. That's why Crowley... Yeah, M-A-G-I-C-K, as to distinguish it from stage magic. Okay? Stage magic is fun, too. Why? Because it creates a state of wonder, which is a pretty magical state to work from. The whole point of not knowing how the trick is done is that allows you to have that sense of wonder, right? Yeah, bring in a sense of wonder. Remember that sense? Here are some things memories that'll help you evoke that state. Remember the first day of school where you couldn't wait to meet all the new kids, if that wasn't stressful for you? Or how about that moment? How many people remember the last day of school before summer vacation, the last hour, when the clock started to tick slower? And you know how school clocks don't tick regularly? They stick for 5 minutes and then they go... But this time it went... The clock had constipation. It was pre-summer vacation constipated clock syndrome. And you know, you're pretending to be interested, and everyone knows there's no commitment to whatever the teacher is teaching. Not like here. Okay? Right? Because if you try to have that respond, no. All I have to do is make the face. You know what I'm talking about? That sense of, wow, it's fun time coming right up. You know what I mean? Those are some ways. I'm just thinking of TV Funhouse. They had a Christmas special and went, where to look for presents? In Dad's gun cabinet. And the kid is throwing the shotguns around up on the roof. And the kid's going, inside of bread. In your mom's underwear drawer. It was like so funny. I love that show. That's shockingly. I remember the first time. Talk about sense of wonder. Does anyone here like Monty Python? Think back to the very first time you ever saw anything from Monty Python and what your response was. The first time you ever saw Monty Python. Like, what the fuck is this? This is so bizarre. Like the first time you ever saw any speed seduction stuff, didn't you think, what the fuck is this? This can't be real. That's what I thought. Okay, so altered state. Will, altered state. What else? What's another element of magic?
Imagination.
Imagination. That's right. Imagination. Imagination. Well, you use your imagination all the time anyway, right? When you conjure a boogeyman in your head, you picture a woman rejecting you when you want to walk up and talk to her. You ever do that? Come on, how many people have ever done that? You ever get in a relationship and picture it failing? Picture the other person rejecting you and all the pain they're going to cause you? Come on. Well, guess what? You just programmed it because that's what you're going to do. You're not even going to see the possibility of how your behavior is creating that outcome. Now, I want to step back here for a second. I am not, how many people believe me when I say I am not an airy-fairy, hug everybody, everything's beautiful, white light, new age, tofu eating vegetarian? Okay. I believe there are aspects of your reality that are not your choice. It's certainly not your choice if Russia launches a nuclear warhead and vaporizes Los Angeles. It's not your choice not to die. You die. But in the realm of your desires and how you relate with other people and what you create in your life, the vast majority of it is strongly contributed to by you in one way or another. Does that make sense? So, if, for example, I do not believe, if you're walking down the street and someone grabs you from behind and beats you senseless, that you caused him to do that. That's bullshit. That's a sick, twisted intellectual distortion. I'm not talking about that.
I thought we created our own reality. It was all part of God's plan.
Yes, and my reality is you're going to blow me right now. So, on your knees. Okay? But I do believe in the realm of stuck patterns. If you're having a continuous pattern in your life, then you are strongly contributing to it. And you're probably not able to see how you're creating it.
Is there a way you could design it so that you see it, see the pattern during the stuck patterns?
Yes. In fact, you'll see them in a way where they no longer are something that's so strong you have to do them. See, there's some things, when you visualize them, they're so strong, because you don't even think about it. You just feel that emotional charge and you do it. You'll be able to see the pattern divorced from the emotional charge. So you just see and go, oh. Instead of having the emotional charge that glues it to you and makes you automatically do it, you go, oh, I could do that. I could have a V8. I could have Cheerios and milk, or I could go get a bowl of sugar frosted flakes. Doesn't matter. You understand? Yeah. We'll work on that. That's part of the unbinding. That's part of the pulling out all the excess meaning you've attached. Because once you pull out all that excess stuff, then you can look at those things as choices that you may or may not do.
Right. Well, I mean, you were talking about how you came up with a mission. What's my mission?
Right.
So you were aware on one level that there was a pattern there.
But not consciously. It drove me, but I never really stopped. It did, but I wasn't aware of the consequences to me.
Oh, right.
Okay? I had to become aware of the consequences to me and look and see how that was blocking my own manifesting. I hate that word because it's another New Age Shirley MacLaine, I desire to menstruate word. I once said of someone in the NLP community, his greatest ambition in life is to menstruate one day. I could be a nasty fucker, can't I? Well, that's my mother coming out in me. Who wanted to convert to Judaism? My poor niece, she's the one whose boyfriend is not Jewish, and they're talking about converting. She asked me the question, even though I know he wanted to ask. She says, is it true that if Friday converts, well, that they have to circumcise him? I said, well, yes, that's true. She says, what if he's already circumcised? And I went, well, I picked up a table knife because we had just had dinner. I said, they have to get one drop of blood from it. And he's got to be wide awake. And the kid is like, his eyes, poor guy, his eyes are as big as saucers. I said, think it through. Are you sure it's what you want to do? You know, and now I've got that anchor because I don't have to have the knife in my hand. All I have to do is do that gesture and look. And my sister doesn't realize that. That's going to drive the kid away more than any of her lecturing or any of it. I said to my niece, why would you want to convert? Does he really want to convert? Why? Do you believe in it? She goes, no. I said, what about having the courage of your convictions? That's a matter of conscience. You don't do that to please other people. Where are the courage of your convictions? She doesn't have any. That's her problem. But she doesn't see that as a problem. See, that's just it. To her, it's such a pattern of who she is. She doesn't see it as anything that produces problems for her. When in fact the problem is not that the kid isn't Jewish. The problem is she's got a button on doing things that might displease her mother. I had the experience of, we'll go to lunch after this story because I know we're hungry and we'll pick up where we started. I had it was June. When was June? June was 8 months ago. Anybody? Was it?
Close enough. Yeah.
I know it's not fun. I'm not scanning when June was, but in any case, July, August. Anyway. I went to a seminar that Mark Cunningham and Mike Dubé put on. It's a seminar in stage hypnosis, and the point I got out of it was the point different from anybody else. You may have heard me tell this story, but it's a very important one. Mike Dubé does stage hypnosis, and Mike put in a videotape of a demonstration he did with some college kids. And I'm not exactly describing it, but enough for you to get the point of the story, is that he had 6 guys on stage and 6 girls on stage. The guys were seated in front, the girls were seated back. And the video opens, they're all asleep on stage like this. And Mike said something like the following. He said, gentlemen who are listening to the sound of my voice, in a moment I'm going to count to 3 and awaken you. And when I awaken you, I'm going to be holding a little rag doll. That's all it is to you until I say the word pomegranate. Because when I say the word pomegranate, this is no longer a little rag doll. This is the absolute soulmate love of your life. You're glued to your chair, but you'll do everything you can to convince her to come over. You'll make love to her. Tell her how much you feel for her. Convince her to spend the rest of her life with you. 1, 2, 3, wake up, gentlemen. How you doing, gentlemen? Blah, blah. You having fun tonight? What do you think of this? Stupid doll. Well, it's not a stupid doll. It's a pomegranate. And suddenly these guys, grown men, are crying, begging, honey, come here, come to me. They're singing, loving you is easy to... They're tongue kissing this doll. They're literally humping it. They're humping the rag doll. They're humping the rag doll. And I thought, whoa, hold on here just a friggin' minute. Hold on. I thought, first of all, what makes that so funny? If he had said to them, erase that scenario, picture this one. What if he had said to them, gentlemen, in a moment you're going to open your eyes and you're going to see one of the most beautiful women in the world in a thong bikini. You're glued to your chair, but you'll do everything you can to convince her to come over and sit in your lap. 1, 2, 3, wake up. And what if when he awakened them, it was, pick some actress you think is really hot, whoever it is, and she was really there in a thong bikini. Would it have been so funny? It would have been somewhat funny, but what made it so funny is it was so inappropriate that they were having such a huge response to such a totally inappropriate cue. It's not normal for guys to take a rag doll, hump it, convince it to fall in love with them and marry them. You understand? Well, it depends on what neighborhood you live in, but for the most part. And then I thought, here's the other thing I found very disturbing. In our culture, there's this concept of a soulmate, which I don't believe in, by the way. I think it's a deeply unspiritual concept. A deeply unspiritual and actually arrogant concept. We'll get to that in a minute. But in our culture, one of the most incredible, important events in our lives is meeting our soulmate, right? It's right up there with the birth of your first child, your first lay, whatever. It's a big event, right? Well, these guys were able to have that response on cue when the hypnotist said the word. This event that's supposed to come from the depth of our beings and really help us to learn and discover who we genuinely are, they were able to have it on cue, which means somewhere in the back of their minds they had already rehearsed it. somewhere in the back of their minds, they had a representation of how they were going to act if they ever did meet their soulmate. Which means what? Which means that behavior may seem genuine and a reflection of a wonderful experience, but actually, it's already pre-rehearsed. So I thought, wait a minute. Where in my life am I humping the rag doll? Where in your lives are you humping the rag doll and having this incredible emotional response to an utterly stupid cue? The cue has no meaning in itself other than the fact that you've hypnotically invested in it. And second, where are you having pre-programmed, pre-rehearsed responses that feel genuine, they feel like the real you, but they're really just a pre-programmed, pre-rehearsed response? Is that how you want to live? Do you want to live as a hypnotized stage subject who humps the rag doll? Or do you want to start having some choice? So I think magic is a really good tool to stop humping the rag doll. Okay, so let's review what we've learned so far this morning. We were talking about the process of neurolinguistic cursing, of linguistically cursing yourself and linguistically ungluing yourself. We reviewed that little ritual that we created. When your energy feels compressed, to push it back out, make that grunting noise, and then once your hands are out there, make your sound that represents, make your word that represents that state of excitement and anticipation, adventure, difference. Remember what happens when we label something as fear? We compress ourselves and we limit where we can go with it. But when we relabel it, it's not enough to relabel it. We have to combine it with what we do energetically. That's where the magic is. If you simply relabeled it but kept the same energy, it wouldn't have the same effect. But it's congruent. When you relabel it, not only assign a new word to it, but also attach a different energy, a different posture. When you do something different with the energy and a different posture and a different sound, and you visualize something, what happens? Change. That's how you unglue the deep level stuff. Okay. And then we began this process of defining magic. Remember we talked about will? What was one of the metaphors we used for will? We used the metaphor of a laser. It's focused. Will also means that everything's lined up. The energy, the template, the thought forms, everything is lined up in one direction. We talked about altered state, creating an altered state where anything can be possible, where we have the power to do our will, clarity. You know sometimes where we find representations of altered states is in dreams. Can I give you an example? For many, many years, I graduated school in 1981, college. Ever since then, I had a repetitive dream. I would have it at least 3 times a month, where I'm wandering in some little town just above UCLA where I went to school, and everyone is so happy to see me. I go to bars, and all the girls want to talk to me. And at first, I thought this was a message about a specific place, but I never could find the place. But then what it occurred to me is, this is a place where my will flows freely, where it represents my will flowing freely. It's a life condition where my will flows freely. We're going to come back to this, but right now, just write down a life condition where my will flows freely. Now, by the imagination, I mean that facility, that mental faculty that can create and envision possibility. Now, imagination doesn't just mean the ability to visualize. It also means the ability to imagine feelings, right? Have you ever had a dream where you felt something crawling on you, so in your sleep you actually kicked your legs and kicked your partner? I had a dream in which I was eating Choco chocolate chip ice cream. I ate an entire tub of it in my dream. And it tasted just as good, just as sweet, just as real, just as filling going down. I'm serious. That was all done in the imagination. That's a great, imagine that. The hypnotic eat all the ice cream you want diet. In your sleep at night, you pig out and eat all the junk food you could ever want. During the day, you eat healthy and fine. And you never lack for anything because you've had all the satisfaction at night in your sleep. We could make a fortune off that one, dude. So the imagination is a faculty that doesn't involve just visualizing. Okay. So we have those elements. Now, what else is involved in doing magic? Well, I'm here to tell you a big element is energy and breath. They go hand in hand. Learning how to energize with breathing is extremely, extremely important. In fact, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to learn some new ways to breathe. And since we're probably all digesting our lunch, it'll help to wake us all up. Yeah? How many people here are familiar with yoga? How many people are familiar with huna? All right. One of the things that they have in common is they stress the importance of breathing. In Hawaiian, there's a curse word for white people. They call white people haulis. And hauli means to be without breath, someone who can't breathe properly. So, we want to teach you about breath. Because adding the energy of breath into your ritual, into what you do, makes it extremely powerful. I could go into the reasons why I think that works and the reasons that other people have for it, but it's not as important as actually just learning to do it. Very few people breathe in a way that empowers what they do. We'll get to breathing in a moment. It's very important.
Hey, Russ.
Yes.
You know, English is one of the few languages that has two words for breath and spirit. Most of the other languages, they're either the same word or they're a cognative.
Yeah, I know in Hebrew the word for ruah is the same word for the Spirit of God. It literally means the breath of, it's also translatable as the breath. The Spirit of God moved across the face of the waters. Ruah also means breath. Very important, energy and breathing. I want to add in also the use of symbology. I have my goodie bag in my car. After the next break, I'll bring it in. But the use of symbols is extremely important. Why? Because symbology allows you to access very deep altered states of consciousness. Symbology helps you to build new altered states of consciousness. And there's another reason why we want to use properly use symbols. When you use symbols and arrange them in the right order, it helps to bring all these other things into line. For example, let's say you're going to do a magical working that involves making yourself a lot more courageous for an upcoming event, like some conflict in your life. You'd want to use those symbols that tend to evoke in you those feelings of being courageous and powerful. It's not a good idea, for example, to evoke Casper the Friendly Ghost. Okay? You understand what I mean? So you want to create symbology that calls to your mind the energy, the mental state, the altered states of consciousness that are useful for doing the work you want to do. Go ahead.
Well, I've been having some difficulties getting myself up to talk to real live girls, and I was at a ballroom dance event, which is probably a better event for me anyway, since it's more of a place where I can be in state, or I have better control of my state. Anyway, was using some patterning and the which part of the story do you want to hear?
Tell them what I told you to do first of all.
The part of what I was told to do was to imagine myself as Pepe Le Pew, to take on the identity of Pepe Le Pew.
Does everyone know? Does anyone not know who Pepe Le Pew is? Tell them who Pepe Le Pew is.
Pepe Le Pew is a great Warner Brothers character who, a skunk who is a master seducer.
And he is always going after the cat, who he mistakenly thinks is a skunk.
Yes. And by keeping that image in my head of me being Pepe, it's really helped.
But I didn't tell you just to imagine Pepe. What else did I tell you to do? I told you to imagine the fluffy tail,
the
fluff
fluffy
up your
tail.
tail.
That's right.
To speak like Pepe, yes?
Well, not to the woman, but...
But no, I want
myself.
you to do that too. I want you to walk up to a woman and speak to her like you are Pepe. Go, hello, mon chéri, my name is Pepe. Pepe Le Pied. Would you like to feel my tail? I want you to do it. You must do it.
Okay.
So in his case, my point of the story is he needed to loosen up, so I gave him Pepe Le Pew to focus on and to become Pepe. You get it? One of the fun things about chaos magic, which is one of the things I practice, is they tell you to find symbology that makes sense to you. There's no point in drawing on old symbol sets that don't mean anything for you. Find symbols that evoke something in you. And since we were all kids and we all grew up on cartoons, they're there in our imagination anyway, so you may as well use them. Does that make sense? So symbols are really important. The other cool thing about symbols when we get to sigils, and we're going to get into some sigil magic a little later this afternoon. Here's part of the problem in bringing about a desire, is consciously you can get in the way. If you're constantly thinking about what you want, you also bring your conscious mental sets into the process. All your doubts, all the things from your past. You start trying to get in the way and make it happen faster. Have you ever found yourself pushing something you want away? Anybody? Or you were so eager to make it happen, you interrupted the other person from giving you what it is they were ready to give you. Right? So how is it that we can magically work with desire without desire getting in the way? Well, I'll give you a little hint. How many people here have used a computer for at least 10 years? How many people remember before they had Windows and before you were smart enough to have a Mac? What did you have to do to make your computer work? You had to, say again? You had to do what? Type in commands, right? A string of commands. Well, now what you do is you have something on your desktop, on your computer screen called an icon, right? You click on it, right? Is that correct? Am I speaking Greek? We get it? Yeah. You click on that icon. That icon triggers all those commands you would have had to type. The commands are still there in the computer, but the icon triggers the command. So you don't have to go through the command. You just point at the icon. Does that make sense? Yes. So in a sense, the commands are now unconscious. All that's conscious is the symbol of the commands, if you want to use a metaphor. By the way, let me get back to this point about soulmates. Some woman had asked me if I believe in soulmates, and I said, no, I think it's a deeply unspiritual thing. I'll tell you why. If we all share, on some level, if we all share the same mind on some level, if we all are spiritually connected, then we're all soulmates. The notion that there's only one person who can match your soul means that everyone else belongs on the outside. It means ultimately, spiritually, we're separated. Funny that the very people who believe in soulmates the most are the ones who proclaim themselves to be the most spiritual, but I think it's deeply unspiritual. Think about that. If all minds on some deep level are all connected, then aren't we all soulmates in that sense? Then I proceeded to ask for... No, I didn't say that. He said that. He did it to her. Yes, my friend Zach says. Okay. All right. So do we have questions so far? So the thing about breathing is this. There's certain ways to energize yourself with breathing before you do a ritual, before you do any kind of thing. I'm going to show you 3 of them. Fair enough? I want to show you a form of breathing that involves breathing from here. Okay? So what you do is you push your stomach out to inhale, and you pull it in to exhale. Can you try that a few times? Okay, stop. You got that? Does that make sense? Can you do that? So one way to energize yourself is everyone just sit on the floor somewhere. Find a spot. It doesn't matter. Sit back there. Anywhere you can find a spot to sit on the floor. We're all going to sit on the floor, boys and girls. Boys and girl, I should say. There's ants all over this table, too. It doesn't matter. It's easy enough to do. And so what you're going to do is just sit in a really comfortable cross-legged position.
That's it.
Or if you can't cross your legs, just sit comfortably. And what you're going to do is you're going to do this all through the nose. And what you're going to do, remember, you breathe in by pushing your tummy out. Do it slowly. Do it slowly at first. Y'all doing that? I'll walk around and check. Okay, good. Now we're going to show you what they call breath of fire. And breath of fire is, you're basically doing that, but you're doing it very quickly. Look at me, don't do it. It's like you're panting like. Right. I'll do about 10 of those, and then I end up by going. Do we all get that? So what you want to do is do about 10 inhales and exhales through your nose, and then after the 10th one, take a long, deep inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Do we all get that? I'll walk around. Go ahead and do that. Do it. Don't write notes. Do it. It's important to do that long, deep inhale and then exhale through the mouth. That keeps you from hyperventilating. It keeps the oxygen, carbon dioxide mix regulated. And do it again. You can keep your eyes open as you do this. You don't have to close them. You could do this watching TV. I do about 10 minutes of this a day. Go to yoga class and do this too. Now look at all the chicks. So for those of you at home who are sitting there masturbating in your underwear, it's like this. See? Just do that for a couple of minutes. Energize yourself up. Don't push too far. If you feel lightheaded, stop. You should feel fine, though. All right. I recommend, before you do any magical working, I recommend you energize yourself with breath, and then you form your statement of intent. Write out your statement of intent. It is my intent with this ritual or this working to do the following. Here's a couple other ways to energize with breathing, okay? And now I'm going to do that. How many people here have been reading on my email list about this rite I gave students to do to unstick themselves? You've been reading about that? Huh? Has anyone done that and seen some of the results? Okay. It's a way to unglue some of these energies that have been keeping you glued. So, let me show you another way to do this. You can also energize yourself with breath from a standing posture. So let me show you this one. This is one I learned from a book on Chinese boxing, but it's really good for controlling your sexual energy too. What you want to do is just stand with your feet about shoulder length apart, just relax. What you want to do is just tuck your pelvis in so your pelvis is under. So everything's aligned. You don't want to be like this. This is wrong. And this is wrong, okay? But you want to make sure that just tuck in your tailbone just a little bit so your sacrum is aligned, okay? So it's like, just tuck it in a little, okay? Be relaxed. And what you want to do is pick a spot on the floor about 10 feet away. So where would 10 feet be? 10 feet would be about Steve's hand over there, yeah? It's about 10 feet. What you want to do is bend your knees just a little bit. So that's wrong. That's squatting. And that's wrong. You don't want to keep it locked. Just tuck your pelvis in. Bend your knees a little bit. If you can see this on camera, put your thumb there inside your palm. Put these fingers around the other hand, just like that, and put this just about where your dantian would be. If you take your belly button, can everyone feel their belly button? No, not the other guy's belly button. Your own belly button. Okay, and put 2 fingers beneath the belly button. So it's just right about right there. You can hold a little lower if you want, somewhere between your belly button and your genitals. So for some of you, it's like, okay. All right, look at a spot like 10 feet in front of you on the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale the breath. And then sink in a little bit and tighten your sphincter muscle for a count of 10.
Hold that breath out.
So breathe in. Exhale. And then hold. Tighten your sphincter muscles for a count of 10. Inhale as you raise up. And do that 12 times. Do that 12 times. So I'll do it again. So here's what we do. The posture is, this is wrong. This is wrong. You just want to just tuck your pelvis in a little bit. Bend your knees slightly. Not like this. Not like that. Just bend them slightly. Take your left hand. Put the thumb of your right hand in the palm of your left. And circle your hands like that. Place your hands close to your body between your belly button and your genitalia. Take a deep breath. Exhale it. And then look at a spot 10 feet in front of you. Hold the breath and clench your sphincter muscles for a count of 10. And do 12 of those. Okay? Yes? Is that simple? I do that anyway. If I'm not going to do anything else, I'll do that 10 to 20 minutes a day. But before you actually sit down to do any ritual magic working, I would suggest you energize yourself with breathing first. It's a huge part of it. A huge part of it. And I'm going to show you, everyone, we can sit back in our seats. I'll get to this. How many people feel more awake? Yeah? Do you feel more energized, awake? Yeah. Whoa. I did not expect this to happen. I don't post very often, but this tripped me the fuck out. You following this? I did Ross's magical exercise today for the first time. Just kind of ran through it, did it fairly thoroughly just to see what it would feel like. I ended up liking it, felt as if it was nothing else, just a good little healthy exercise to do. I felt good after doing the exercise. Anyway, today I just felt like relaxing, so my plan was to buy a couple of new CDs and cruise to where I used to live and get a bite to eat. Then cruise back. I felt something telling me to stop at this one diner-type place that I used to frequent. They have really tasty burgers. A fairly attractive woman took my order. I sat down, and a different waitress brought me my food. As I was eating in my own little world, reading the liner notes for my new CDs, about 5 minutes into it, the waitress that brought me my food came by and said, "Excuse me, you know the girl who took your order?" "Yeah. Well, she wanted me to give you this. Here." "Okay, thanks." It was a note written on a napkin that said, "Hi, my name is Laura. This probably sounds really nerdy, but I think you are really cute, and I want to give you my number in case you ever want to hang out or something. Okay? And here's the number. Bye, smiley face, Laura. Guys, I'm not ugly, but I'm not a 10 either. It's weird, but a girl having her friend give me her number like that, that was a first for me. Women never approach me. Well, that's not true, but it's extremely, extremely rare. I think for a very long time I seemed unapproachable, but for most of my life, I have been just a shy guy. So I was pretty freaked out by this. You like that? Here's a guy, Ross. I did that exercise for detaching old behaviors about 6 days ago. Every single day I've seen the same girl. Problem is she's not attractive at all. To be blunt, I think she's a lesbian dyke. Anyway, I talked to her about a couple of months ago and couldn't remember her name. It's not like I routinely... Our schedules are routinized either. I've seen her at unique settings and situation each time. I've seen her on campus, at a dance club, at a park, on the street while I drove by, and now she is 6 seats down from me in the computer lab as I write this. And it's just once per day. It seems weird. What might you make of this? He keeps running into the same person everywhere. When I did this thing for the first time, a couple hours after I did it, I went to Cheesecake Factory, sitting at the bar having lunch. These 2 ladies sit down next to me. They had little vibrators. They have pagers. When your table's ready, it vibrates, but I eat at the counter. They were just waiting for their table. And I said, well, don't sit there too long. You're about to get a buzz. And one of them sitting next to me says, I hope not too soon. I think you're so attractive. She goes, do you mind if I give you my number? Will you call me? My name's Kimberly. I said, my name's, She goes, this is going to sound strange, but can I give you a little kiss? I went, okay. And the bartender's like, okay. And then that same week, I ran into the same girl 4 different places all over the marina. I ran into her at Chaya. I ran into her at Mercedes. I ran into her at the Coffee Bean. I don't remember where the other piece of place. I went, okay, this is really weird. I think we're meant to hang out. Program yourself into my phone. And she's very wealthy, too, and I'd been wanting to draw a very wealthy woman to take care of me for a while. And also someone had been a total bitch to me, called and fell all over herself apologizing to me. This all happened right after I did this thing. So, but listen, take a yoga class, and you'll learn different ways to energize yourself with breathing. One of the reasons why I started taking yoga is to incorporate some of the postures and things into my ritual work. It helps. Anything you can do to activate your body, get your body going, is useful. No, it's okay. I got them. Thanks. Are we following so far? Yeah? Is it good? Think of a time. Have you ever felt thwarted in your life? Does everyone hear the word I'm saying? Thwarted? Thwarted. Has anyone ever felt thwarted? Has anyone ever felt frustrated? Think of the time you felt frustrated. Now think of the time when you've been thwarted. And how do they feel different to you? Let's share. Somebody. How does thwarted feel different than frustrated? No possibility when you're thwarted. Who's got the mic? You're beat.
Well, there's not a lot of negativity attached to thwarted.
There's not?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Come on. Participate with me, guys. I've been doing a good job all day, so help me out here. Come on. Someone.
Rejection is thwarted.
Thwarted to me feels like rejection. And
what is frustrated?
Frustrated is just like don't know what to do next.
Okay. I think part of the definition of thwarted is thwarted gets into your system. Thwarted gets into your physiology and your neurology. You ever see these villains in the movies, in the Bond movies? They've always got like a nervous twitch, or they're hunched over, or they got a scar or something, Thwarted affects people energetically. Having taught speed seduction now for, since 93, I've seen plenty of thwarted people. It's not just that they're frustrated occasionally. They have an entire area of their life that's soaked in ruin. and it gets into their physiology. It's locked into their muscles. It's in their energy field. Consider if there really is something called an energy field. Consider it metaphorically, that contains the sum total of all your experiences and the feelings you've attached to those experiences. If you're walking around pushing that in front of you, just think about who you're drawing. If we only draw what's similar to us and we have that in our energy, think about it. Does that make sense? Pretty scary, huh? So I thought, okay, how do we unthwart people? How can we do it energetically? So I'm going to show you this exercise. I have to remove my wallet.
Here, I'll take that.
All right. This exercise requires a little precision. So the first thing is what you want to do, if you can do it, is you want to get down on the floor and you want to sit on your haunches. Now, some of you are not able to sit on your haunches. The first thing is to make sure you stay uninjured and you stay fine, okay? But sitting on your haunches is sort of like this, okay? You got it? That's sitting on your haunches. Your arms are placed between your legs and your palms are flat on the floor. So that's the posture, and your head is looking down between your hands. This is how it starts. Does that make sense? Can you all see? Yes? Well, stand up and look. My hands are pointed forward. How could they point back? I'd have to do that. All right. You want to spread your fingers as wide as they can go. So that's wrong. See that? This is wrong. And that's wrong too. Put your palms flat on the ground and spread your fingers as wide as they can go. Now, if you're not capable of sitting on your haunches because of posture or weight problems, you can sit back like this. That's okay too. But the preferred position is sitting on your haunches, okay? Are we following so far? Are there any questions? I'm chunking this as small as possible so everyone gets it. The next thing you're going to do, let me get comfortable again. And in fact, if you push your elbows against your legs, you've got it. Like that a little bit, okay? You're going to look down between your hands, and you're going to do that little breath of fire. And as you do that breath of fire, you're going to imagine that all the fixed ideas, all the complexes, the energies, the things that have been keeping you stuck are draining down out of your system, and they're coming out down through your hands and your feet, if your feet are in the right position, if you're on your haunches, draining out through the floor. Does that make sense? Now you don't, I'm going to say this very carefully, you don't specifically envision specific events. You just get a sense or a representation, like a skin being peeled off you. You ever see these Mission Impossible movies where they peel off their face and there's another face behind it? It's like that. You're peeling off a skin of evil. Okay? So you're going to do that. You're going to look down and you're going to imagine that's going on for 10 breaths. So and then when you're done with the 10 breaths, you're going to raise your head to eye level. So you don't look up. You raise your head to like eye level, and you take a deep, full breath in through the nose. And as you do that, you imagine new possibilities, new choices, new energies coming down to the top of your head, moving all the way down through till it gets to your hands and feet. Does that make sense? Do we follow? So I'm going to do that again. Let me just relax a minute here because I can't hold that posture that long. I need to stretch.
Relaxing, do you vividly imagine those new possibilities or just a sense?
Just a sense that they're there. A sense that they're coming in. Very vague, like shapes with just broad outlines. I need to stretch a bit.
Does it matter if your heels are on the ground as well or just maybe on?
If you're flexible enough to put your heels down, go ahead and do it. Doesn't really matter. The most important part is the position of the hands. I strongly prefer that you have your feet connecting with the ground because then it's also draining out through your feet too. But if you can put your heels back, you're pretty fucking flexible. I can't do that. At least not in these clothes. Not with Paul Jr. and the twins around. So anyway. Ross Jr. and the twins. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to do it again from start to finish. Ready? Do that for like a cycle of 4 or 5 times. And when you're doing it, just when you're done, release any expectation of result. Just let it all go. Don't be thinking, okay, now I'm going to go and get Sally Jane big tits to spin on my pole. Just let it go. Do you understand? Okay, so I want everyone to find some floor space and do it. When you do this exercise, what you're doing is you're draining out all of the energy and the complexes and the emotions that attach so much meaning to these events in the past. They're no longer important. They just become things that happened. You're detaching all this from it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Are we doing this for limitations in general or specific contexts?
In general. What you're doing is all the limiting behaviors, all the things that robbed you of choice, all the areas in your life where you were stuck and you were on autopilot, all limiting emotions are all draining out. See, when you walk through the world as a thwarted person, particularly with females, because I know a lot of you guys are here to enhance your speed seduction success. Who's here for that? Okay? When you walk through the world thwarted, women can sense it. Women can also sense a guy who's not thwarted, who's clear. A clear guy. I don't mean Scientology definition of clear, but a guy... Someone who has a lot of choice in their behavior, who's not bound by the past, and has a lot of choice, who's present in the moment, and can choose anything in that moment, is really attractive. Yes? Oh, yeah. You didn't think so, but now you realize.
No, you're just staring at me.
Yeah, but is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
And you can sense it real fast, yeah, if you have a brain. If you're stupid, you wouldn't sense it, but you're smart, so you do sense it. Right? Anchor, anchor. Are we following this? And then release all, don't go looking around now what's going to happen, and you'll find things just happen. All right? Any of you feel any sense of release? Someone said, that's cool. Who said that's cool as they were doing it? What did you feel as you were doing it?
It's light.
Yeah. Cool, like, whoa. Have you ever heard that phrase? It's like a burden's been lifted from my shoulders.
I thought it was Natasha.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So, yes, sir.
Sorry.
You came all the way from where? Are you mad? That's all. How many continents did you cross to be here?
4.
What time is it now?
Couldn't tell you.
I have no idea.
You have no. I like that.
He left there on the 23rd. Got here on the 22nd. Thought he was the 23rd. Thought he'd missed a seminar. Called the office. What the hell is a seminar?
That's batting me around. I don't even get that. All right.
Russ, I got a question.
Yeah.
You, somewhere on one of your tapes, I heard you say that when you defocus, you said you defocus your eyes.
Yeah.
And you feel like that feeling of energy when you do that inside you. When you're feeling all these new energies coming in, should you be doing that, feeling that?
Should you be defocusing your eyes?
No, but that same feeling that I get inside when I defocus my eyes, it's almost like a feeling of energy.
Is that the feeling you got?
No, I'm one. It's
No.
like a forced thing that I have to do to feel that energy.
No. Listen to me. No.
Always forced that way.
Shh. No. You just get an overall sense that you're bringing new possibility into yourself. No, you just get an overall sense that new possibility and new choice is coming into your body. Imagine being in a supermarket and the only thing available on the shelves is soap and just one brand of it. Okay? Now imagine walking into the same supermarket and everything's been magically changed and there's 1,000 different products. What's the sense of choice you now get when you look at that? Okay, that's the sense that you want to feel pervading through your body, suffusing all the way through the cells of your body. You get it? That's what it's designed to do, to give you a feeling of choice. To imagine all of that, just people imagine it differently. I see like a skin of energy coming down through my head, spreading out. As it spreads out and down, it also moves through all the cells. It's like cleansing the cells of your body. Imagine you're cleansing the cells of your body, flushing out all the old energies and emotions, and breathing in new possibility. Unlimited, untouched, untapped, chaotic possibility. You get it? Who else had some challenges? You notice I'm not the Ross from the speed seduction seminars. I'm a lot more laid back. So if you're having a challenge with it, tell me what else. So somebody else. Who else did the exercise?
Everybody.
You didn't do the exercise?
At home, when I practice it, I was practicing it with my hands. You said spread the fingers wide. I was practicing with my hands like this.
Yeah.
It still works. It makes a difference.
Which worked better for you? This way or that? This way or that way? All right. The thing is, you want to make sure that the hands are spread wide and the palms are flat, so all that bad energy can diffuse out through them. You got to give it somewhere to go. Does that make sense? You might even want to try doing it from this posture. If you're having trouble squatting, try it like this. Yeah, that feels good too. I like that too. Did you get that? Anybody else about this? Did you feel anything when you were doing it? What? What'd you feel?
I felt a release.
A release?
Yeah, but I was also really lightheaded when I was doing it.
Well, okay, because you're doing a lot of breathing in your head squat. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I feel like a energetic enema.
An energetic enema? You do think like me. All of this is part of unbinding all of this so you can create a place of choice. Yes. Fewer words are better. And don't bring up any other thought system like, is this like the Sefer Hebereth in the Kabbalah? Just keep it on this.
Hey, Ross, I noticed I had a tendency to then want to transform that energy into something other than more like that.
Well, that's attention deficit disorder. That's not part of the exercise.
I just wanted to know if you thought that was better.
Transform it. At what point? At what point
As it was releasing out of me.
Yeah. Just let it release. You don't have to do any more with it. Adding on more complexity is not always a good thing. Okay, when you fuck someone, you put the penis inside the vagina. You don't wrap it around your leg 3 times, pierce it with a barbell, go back into Freudian history and think about everything else that represents a penis. Sometimes simplicity works best, my son. You know, when the apple fell on Galileo's head, he didn't go, is this the right kind of apple? Let me go through the orchard and juggle apples. No. He went, oh. Or was it Newton? Well, you see, adding on layers of complexity is really sometimes a way of just getting in your own way. I want you to have choice. I want you to have a choice. I want you to make a distinction here. Make a distinction. Okay? The sign of the cross. Make a distinction. On one side, you can put talking primarily because you enjoy hearing yourself talk and you enjoy expressing ideas. And the other side is talking to communicate an idea to another person. Your primary intent is to have impact in a positive way on that person. Divide them up. And when you look over here in terms of communicating to have impact on another person, use as few words as possible. And when it's here just about hearing yourself talk, use as many words as you like. But understand that choice is yours at any time, and you can learn to make that distinction. So you can be here, where you're communicating just primarily to enjoy hearing the sound of your own voice, and use as many words as you want. But if it's over here, where you're communicating to make an impact on others, use as few words as possible. More words, less impact. Fewer words, more impact. Your choice. What's it going to be? Depends on what's valid for the context. Now, in terms of this seminar, all that's gone. It's purely about what's going to have the most impact, which means fewest words. Okay, that's a few-word answer. I like it. You're learning. By the way, I have an anchor on him now. If he starts talking too much, sign of the cross. No, I have an anchor on everybody. Anchors. Anchors are really cool things. By the way, symbols and magic are just anchors. Symbols and magic are just anchors. They're ways of triggering and building states of consciousness. And we want to build states of consciousness according to the tasks that we're designing. Does that make sense? Again, if we want to do a task that involves making us more strong, more brave, more bold, do we want to invoke a Richard Simmons and Casper the Friendly Ghost, and who else would we invoke?
Curly.
Well, Curly's pretty bold. No. Who's the fag who wrote Men Are From Venus? Women? John Gray. John Gray. What a whining fag he is. And the worst whining fag of all, John Bradshaw. That guy. I mean, I would like to put John Bradshaw, John Gray, and Richard Simmons in a tank of water. Hold them underwater, put ankles to their weights, and only one regulator, one breathing apparatus. So they're all scratching and clawing for that thing. Let's see how spiritual they are then. Give that to me, you fucking bitch. I have the biggest mother wound. I want it. I was married to Barbara DeAngelis. Give him the fucking regulator. I mean, really, Jesus. And they're making millions because they're so effeminate. And therefore, because they're effeminate, women aren't threatened and buy their products. Marketing. How is this relevant, Ross? I didn't pay for this. Is that what you're thinking? What are you thinking? Your guru knows what you're thinking. By the way, if you're having any doubts about this, it's me who's putting those doubts in your mind. How's that for a bind to lap on someone? If you don't believe what I'm saying, that's Satan invading your mind, causing you to doubt. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts you want to share? No? Did I embarrass you? Now, take that feeling of embarrassment. You got it. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Make it stronger, stronger, even stronger. Now, think of something that feels totally familiar to you, an old problem, a way you used to respond with women. Now, fire off that embarrassment anchor. Now, when you try and make that old habit of doing something with women feel familiar, how does it feel? Right. Okay, it's canceled out. Is it? Yeah? Are you easily embarrassed? Oh, cool. Well, embarrassment can be useful. Just take the things that... Embarrassment means the situation doesn't feel right or familiar. So just take all your limits and make them feel unfamiliar by applying the embarrassment to them. Not the same as shame. That's something different. Come on, who else has comments? I hear brains frying. I can hear it, guys. I'm trained to hear neurons going crispal, cracky, crunchly, crunch. So what else is going on? What's up with you, dude? Are you enjoying this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, are you applying it? Have you been doing the drills? And how are you doing with it?
All right. I feel like more energetic, or like I feel a little like what she was saying, like release.
Now, you're one of the guys who's thwarted, aren't you, when it comes to speed? How's your success been with speed seduction?
It's been very minimal.
Okay, so, yeah, okay, because you have some fixed sets of ideas about yourself that are kind of wired in there with but how many times did you do this ritual?
I did it at least 5 times before.
I want you to do it tonight before you go to sleep, and then tomorrow when you wake up, and then I'm going to talk to you again. What's your name?
Right.
Okay. So, are we all following along? Are we all having fun? Yes. Any questions or comments so far? Jan, you're having fun. You always have fun. Hang on, Steve. What's going on with you, Jan?
Many good things. I'm having a lot of pleasant memories coming back as we did the exercise, like early childhood stuff, a sense of total freedom.
Oh, good. Jan's good. But that name. Hi, my name's Jan. Do you have a brother named Belch and a sister named Burp? Come on, man. Oh, Jan. Well, he's a hypnotist named Jan.
We'll change it to Yum.
Yum, yeah. You know, they named me Jan, but you can call me Yum. I like him. I love his spirit. He's one of my friends. Steve, you had a comment?
I just wanted to ask you, when you're doing these type of breathing yoga exercises, do you feel that there's intrinsic value? Just in other words, because you're doing it, you're putting your body in that physiology, it just naturally has the power, or do you actually feel that it's coming from the way that you're positioning it mentally?
Yes.
Both?
Yes. By the way, anytime anyone asks you an either or question, there's almost certainly an and involved. So throw it back at them by going yes, and they won't know what part of the question you're answering the yes to. Well, do you love me, or do you want to just... Do you love me, or... are you looking for a relationship, or you're looking to get laid? I'm like, well, yes. I wasn't aware the two don't go hand in hand. Yes. Are you being sincere or are you kidding around? Yes. Why can't it be both? And here's something I want you to do. Is if you put your notes down, put your feet flat on the floor, your hands flat on the table in front of you, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And mentally what I want you to do is see that circle in front of you, that place where anything could be possible, and just take a giant mental step forward into it as you resonate that word that you created the other day. That place where anything is possible, because I want you to listen to me. Because yes, magic can be a way of changing other people. Magic can be a way of drawing events and circumstances to you, but on a more fundamental, much more powerful level, magic is about a way to create change for yourself. Because when you think about all the constructs that you've had up to now, that you've placed between yourself and the world, all the things that aren't really true, they just had appeared so. Because when you think about all the constructs, all the I can'ts, all the I ams that were there, those were things that were placed there magically without your choice. Now, if you just take a deep breath and begin to consider, as your unconscious begins to sort through all the constructs placed between you and the world and begins to sort out the ones that have not been useful, the ones that have been holding you back, the ones that have been blocking you from the magical act of choosing who you're going to be and what responses you're going to have. As you come to the realization as that's happening, that every time you let a construct that you didn't choose or create jump in your way, it's no more different than that witch turning the prince into a frog. Because if you were to allow the gaps in your understanding to grow just for a moment, allow the gaps in your understanding to grow wide enough to have new constructs slide right inside the gaps of what it is you do not understand and what it is you've yet to experience, to have new and empowering constructs slide right into the gaps. Because you see, I know for many of you, you have a history, you have a past, and people told you things about what you deserved and what you could or couldn't do. But you know what? Those can be viewed now. What would it be like to now view those things as little viruses that were given to you, colds that you caught, things that were transmitted to them and they transmitted it on to you? But you know what? When you have a runny nose, you don't view the mucus as yourself. You don't go, the snot's the real me, because it's not the real you. It's just something that's a byproduct. So when you have a runny nose, you blow your nose, you get rid of it. And change is nothing to sneeze at. So if you take a deep, deep breath and just blow out all the constructs that don't belong, only as fast as your unconscious mind begins to create new ones that really work to serve you, to move you in a new direction. Because the silliest belief that you could have is to look into your past and say, because it never was before, because I don't see it there in the past, it never can be in the future. If that were the case, you wouldn't be walking. If that were the case, there'd be no airplanes, no television. Well, some things aren't necessarily good. There'd be no flights to the moon. Now, one of the constructs that I'd like you to begin to form in whatever way you can is the notion, the idea, the commitment that to have skill, you've got to practice. But practice can be enjoyable and fun. That you can begin to sort through your environment and find things to remind you to practice these skills. to give yourself permission to learn. And to begin to have choice in your responses. What if you were to view your responses as investments? Now, some of you play the stock market. Some of you have invested in real estate. Some of you have never really invested anything before. But what if you were to view each and every one of your common emotional responses as investments, as stocks? And you ask yourself the question, how has this really performed for me in my life? How has this response that I've had for so long really performed for me as an investment? Is it really building my emotional enjoyment portfolio, or is it a big loser I need to dump? So when the opportunity to invest in that construct comes up again, you can look at it and go, do I really want to invest in this one? Or do I want to let it ride, or do I want to dump it and sell it? Because you've been selling your opportunities short. Now it's time to sell, really sell your limitations short. What if all the cans and shoulds and shouldn'ts in your life were just investments? And you could look at them and go, do I want to invest my focus and emotion in these things? Now, there are those of you who have some money, those of you who have more, those of you who are doing things to make more. But whatever your financial situation is, if you had a stock that was consistently losing money and dropping in value and getting you nowhere, you'd be a fool to do anything other than to just dump it. Then again, there are the responses, the constructs that really serve you. And what if all the emotional energy you've pulled out of your bad investments are available to invest in the ones that really do work for you? That make you stronger, make you happier, make you more giving, make you more capable. So it'd be an interesting thing to look at your responses as they are about to come up, as you're having just a little bit of them, and go, how is this serving me in my portfolio? Do I really want it, or do I want to dump it? Maybe I'll just let it ride without investing anything in it today and see where it's at tomorrow. Because the notion of building emotional wealth is a very interesting one. Like this morning, I had an opportunity to invest in resentment and self-pity. I put maybe $5 worth of emotional energy and attention into it and discovered that that's not where I wanted to go today, particularly since I had a better job to do, which is to invest in teaching. Now, I don't know, maybe each and every time you see a report on the stock market, you hear it mentioned in the news, see it in the newspaper, it'll be a reminder for you to take stock of your own emotional portfolio. Look at what's serving you, what responses and constructs are serving you, which ones are not, which ones are still, you can't quite tell whether it's an up or a down market. What if there were new technology stocks when it came to the realm of your capabilities? What if you had your own private emotional and mental NASDAQ that kept track of research and development? What if all the energy you invested in whining, all the energy you invested in, I don't know if she'll like me, you put into creativity and new development, in research and development? How far would you go? How far could you be now? And if you were to take the deep, deep, deep breath, resonate inside to that power word again, and really imagine yourself 10 years in the future, really having a great deal of mastery of these tools and just exactly what it will mean for you in your life. First of all, what will it mean in terms of how good you feel? What will it mean for you, and what will you be experiencing in terms of the type of people you'll have surrounding you? And really get a sense of what it will mean for your sense of capability, your sense of deservingness, your sense of mission and what you'll enjoy in your life and how you'll contribute to others. and really, really begin to get those feelings, and raise your arm in the air only as fast as those feelings really begin to build. Whichever arm you raise, just raise it only as fast as those feelings really, really strongly begin to build. As you see your stock rising, and notice what it's like as you can control how fast those feelings build by raising your arm. Because we're telling you about how your physiology can control the feelings. So use what you've learned. Now, some of you are still investing in hesitation. That's right. Some of you are still investing in hesitation, in delay, in doubt, in trying too hard. Now, only put those hands or arms down as fast as that sense of reality builds and builds and builds as you resonate to your word once again. And only as fast as you let go of all the constructs and all the investments that just weren't paying off. Now, by the way, just because relatives or parents or family made stupid investments and they handed them on to you doesn't mean you have to hold on to that portfolio. If your great-grandparents left you an inheritance of stock from a wonderful company that made horse and buggy carriages, you'd probably sell it off today and buy something that works, wouldn't you? So all the emotional things that your family threw at you, your parents, that portfolio really don't work anymore. Just because they invested in it doesn't mean that you had to. Does it? Because for me, magic is a set of symbols, a set of focusing tools, a set of attention direction filters to pay attention to things in a way that enables you to have incredible choice. Yes, you can use psychic influence to draw some woman, and a particular woman you like, and bang her. Certainly you could. Or you could use magic so that your will works in the world to draw all sorts of people to you, so you can pick and choose. It's all up to you. Now I want you to just take a deep breath, open your eyes, look up here, stand up, shake yourself a little bit, energize yourself with breathing for 3 minutes, and we'll be back. I want to play with you. David, come up here. TV Funhouse memories in your head. Sit down. Jackie. First of all, you have an assignment, which is you must watch TV Funhouse when it comes on, okay? You don't like that assignment? You seem to... You don't watch TV at all? Never? You've never seen me on TV? Oh. You don't have a TV? Whoa, that's pretty cool. That's an interesting metaphor, by the way. So, what do you do for a living?
I work at a retail store.
Okay. What kind of store?
Hardware and lumber.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when I go in there and want to find a certain... Oh, man, that felt good. I went into a hardware store, and I was kind of bored. I said, yeah, listen, I need to dispose of a couple of bodies. Do you got any, like, big, huge sacks of lime and maybe some carbolic acid? And I need something that could cut through some adult-sized bones. They didn't even bat an eyelash. They'd go, well, you need to talk to so-and-so over in that department. I'm like, they're not listening. Did you ever have anyone come in and ask to what they could use to dispose of a body?
No.
No? They ever talk to you about what you should do if someone asks you that?
Nope.
No? Uh-huh. So, if you were just to think just a moment about some things that you need to come unglued from, are there some things that you would like to come unglued from?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, when you think about those things that up until now or up until recently have been glued to you, what belief do you have in terms of the possibility of them being gone?
I believe I could deal with them, or they could be gone if I could locate them and work on them.
Okay. This is telling me something very interesting. He just revealed something very interesting. Essentially saying in order for one thing to happen, something else conditionally has to be there first. He said he has to locate them and work on them. So let me ask you a question. How would you know if you had located them? What would have to occur inside or exteriorly for you to know that you've located them?
I would feel it.
Okay. Would you feel it in the form of a pleasant or unpleasant set of sensations?
So I'm not sure.
Okay. I believe him, by the way. So, in order to deal with this, you would have to locate them first, but you're not sure how you would know if you'd located them or not.
No, it's a sensation. It's a feeling, and it's like a buzzy, like I have now.
A buzzy sense that tells you what?
Just there's an energy there.
An energy of what? Being stuck and glued, or an energy of being free and moving?
Free and moving.
Okay. So, right at this moment...
Or point at which the two meet.
Okay. So... Okay. Let me ask you this. Before you came to the seminar, did you have some kind of representation of what you'd be like after this seminar has worked for you?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Not consciously, but yeah, there's an image that does come up.
There's an image that comes up. Okay. Okay. As you make reference to that image, as you make reference to it right now, looking at it, does it contain information that's useful to you?
That the image I have, he's smiling, he's happy. It's a good thing.
Okay. So as you look at that image again, is it an impossibility, a possibility, or a probability?
Probability.
A probability. Okay. I'll work with that. Good. Now, during the course of the weekend, as it changes from probability to, something you're anticipating arriving. Okay. Okay. I'm just tracking you. I'm watching you. You can return to your seat. You're all right. I'm just watching you carefully. He may have to have a close encounter of the Ross kind. How long have you been doing that job?
For, at this particular location, about 4 years.
And what'd you do before that?
Similar job.
You ever done time?
Done time?
Yeah. No? Okay. Anyone around you ever done time?
Yeah, actually, my brother. Well, he's not around.
Well, but I mean someone in your family. Yeah. I picked that up. Anyone else besides your brother? No, okay. How long did your brother do time for?
On several occasions, I think, not for very long.
How many times at several occasions?
I would just make a guess, probably 6.
6? Do you still talk to him? Is he still in touch with the family?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other kids besides you and your brother? Huh? And what are they doing with their lives?
I actually hardly ever see them.
Huh. Okay. See, I'm like a hound now. I'm on the scent. I'm on the trail and picking up the scent. And you notice what I do with my body differently when I'm on the scent? I'm wagging my little tail here. Huh. So the only one in your family that you still have contact with, brothers and sisters wise, is your brother who did time?
I see my little brother more.
How often do you see him?
Maybe every 2 weeks.
Cool. What does he do?
He stays at home a lot. His work.
Do I smell a pattern? See? Now it's like a snake rattle. Getting ready to strike. Tapping a beat. I pick up on things. I was at a place looking at the waitress. I said, I saw a big letter Q emblazoned on her forehead. It wasn't really there, but I saw it. I said, who do you know with the letter Q in their name? She said, no one. I said, then it's a pool cue. She said, I play pool in a weekly league. How did you know that? I said, because I saw it right there. Well, let me suggest that maybe you've done your time as far as having to stay trapped at your family's level of success, and that you're not betraying your family by doing a lot better than they are. In fact, maybe you're just becoming true to yourself. That stepping into the level of success and enjoyment may be a way of setting them free, because finally maybe they can see an example other than the shit they've seen their whole lives. So maybe as you manifest and make yourself happier, it's a way for them to have a glimmer of hope. And maybe they'll resent it. That's their choice, whether they do dark magic or good magic for themselves. But at least you can be an example for yourself. So what if instead of betraying your family, becoming more successful, more happy, is a way of becoming true to yourself? Yeah, I know you would. And I'm seeing some sign and some releasing of energy. Don't make me step into your head and twist things, because I will. See, he's shifting here. Now he seems a lot more loose and relaxed. So now, look at that image of yourself being able to do these things. Now how's it feel? Look at it now.
That's good. It's a lot closer.
A lot closer. It moved closer, didn't it? Seems more real, more possible. I think it's time to commute your sentence and give you a pardon. Because you didn't choose other people's fuck-ups. You may have thought it was your fault. Maybe they tried to blame you. But they did it. Not you. You didn't do anything wrong. And if you continue to blame yourself for other people's problems, I'm going to get mad at you. You don't want to deal with me on that level. See, because now my rattle is really going. Right. Do you have a Bible at home? Where are you from? Where do you live? Did you drive here?
No,
You staying in the hotel?
I'm staying in a different hotel.
Don't the Gideons still put Bibles in all the drawers? Yeah. Go read Isaiah chapter 61. I think that's the chapter. It may be the wrong one, but read that one. It starts out, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. So it's either 60 or 61. I'm still on the scent here. I can smell shit from 1,000 incarnations away. Okay, enough of this, man. Feeling better? You don't know yet. Okay, good. Huh? In fact, if you were to take all those old ideas about betraying your family and not being able to be more successful than they are, and put some of that in there. Yeah. Huh? Huh? Am I hitting the target? Huh? Am I right about some of this? Yeah, I know. Now I'm getting all amped up here. So Marvin, how you doing, buddy? Good. Yeah. So tell us what's going on with your using sleaze seduction? You said how's it going for you?
It's going.
Now he's searching. Is he going to give me the answer that he really wants to give, or is he going to give me the answer that's going to get him made fun of, or what answer is he really going to give? So the first thing he's doing here is, when you work with someone, they show you everything you need to know in like the first minute, because the way they respond to you is probably including the contaminated way they respond to the world. So go ahead. How are you using speed seduction? One time a client came to me, or I was in a seminar, I don't even remember. He had some problem that had been blocking him for years, and I said, this is bullshit. I'm going to do this hopping up and down on one foot. I literally did the change work, hopping up and down on one foot, just to brag. I've been pretty obnoxious in my career. Go ahead.
So I'm using it in mainly a work environment where I'm around.
Okay, what does that mean? How specifically are you using it?
With people, with women around me, people in general and the women that are around me.
Mm-hmm.
And just little bits and pieces, like I haven't gone out, like we were talking about walk-ups, I haven't gone out to do that. The women that are around me in the process of work, I will do little things, report things from Major Marks types, bonding kinds of things. And my life has really changed.
In what way has it changed? Let's hear. I'd like to know.
I just enjoy being around people.
Good.
The women around me.
Good.
I'm the kind of guy that a year ago I didn't really talk much to people. Women didn't know I existed. I mean, now I have, I get hugs and kisses and I get flirted with. And I've taken a couple of women that I really liked who are married and made them into friends and knew exactly what I was doing.
You knew what you were doing, or they knew, or both?
No, I knew because in the past I would make women into friends and didn't realize the mechanics of what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So these are a couple of women that are married that I really like and respect, and I've made them into good friends.
Good, I like that. And you need to encourage them to introduce you to their single female friends. Are they doing that?
Not yet.
Okay, you definitely need to do that. Go ahead, keep going. I like what I'm hearing.
The next step is part of...
Miracles are possible. Can you say, Hail Sargi?
Hail Sargi.
I said, we're going to cast any remaining supplication demons out of this boy's body. This child of God who has been bound by the satanic serpent of supplication. We're here today for you, brother. We're going to cast that demon out of your body by the power of these healing hands. For it has been given to me. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. For the Lord has anointed me to preach glad tidings to those who sit in darkness, to open the eyes of the blind, to loose those in the prison. For today is the acceptable day of the Lord's vengeance, my brother. Can you say,
Hail, Lord Ross.
Hallelujah. Hello, brother. Hola, ¿cómo está, hermano? No food. Probably next door. Our food is the work of the Lord, brother. And we're going to consume the devil. Can I get a hallelujah from the congregation? Hallelujah. All right, my brother, you've been progressing. We're proud of you, brother. You've been casting out the demons of fear and supplication. Brother, what has been holding you back? Where would you like to go?
The area of new people, new women,
Brother, I'm going to teach you a principle of manifestation, which is if you can't say it, you can't have it. If you can't say it, you can't have it. Brother, I want you to say, I would like to fuck women. Say it again, brother, with pride. Put your hand out. Say, I would like to fuck women.
I would like to fuck women.
Yes, that's right, brother. It is all right to bang women. All right, brother. Now, let me ask you a question. So, you've been having some success with the materials. So you're a lot more popular. Oh, okay. So a year ago, when you look at where you look at for a minute where you were a year ago. Okay, you there? Now look at where you are now. Okay, good. Now, imagine yourself a year from now, continuing to grow in the skills. Look at that. Okay. And look at where you were a year ago. And look at where you are now. Interesting. Okay, I see perhaps where some of the difficulty may be lying, yeah. So let me ask you a question. When you think about being able to apply these skills with outrageous success, what do you think, realistically speaking, how far do you think you could go with this? I mean, where do you think the limits are? How old are you, first of all?
54.
54. You ever been married?
No.
Ever been engaged?
No.
You've been spared, brother. The Lord has been kind to you. You've managed to avoid it. You've gotten all the luck, and we're proud of you, brother. Some people are...
I was thinking about this morning how lucky I have been.
You have been lucky, brother. Hallelujah. So far, the marriage demon has avoided touching me with its evil poison drip claws. How can we say hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
Give me a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Sister Tammy, can you give me a hallelujah? Hallelujah. For he is Lord, he is Lord, he is Lord. Dun-dun, dun-dun. All right, Marvin. So, 54, huh? So, look, when you think about using these materials, and, for example, if I said, Marvin, do you believe that given sufficient practice and time, you could walk up to someone who's like a hottie, who's like 30 years old, and get her to go to bed with you? Hold it. Yeah, go ahead. It's within?
Within the realm of possibility.
Okay.
A year ago, I would have said no.
Okay. So what specifically has been preventing you from going even further with these tools?
Stuff we were working on yesterday, the stuff that I can't, and where I haven't before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can't because you haven't before? Interesting.
And then we provided different kind of evidence, and I remember the time back in my 20s where I was, out here, actually out in California, and I used to walk up to women all the time, not about seduction, but I did meet girlfriends that way, but not this direct kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. What were you walking up to him for? Yeah, I would. Tell me. Tell me.
For 9 months out here, I made my living as spare changing.
Spare changing? Was that walking up going, do you have any spare change? Dude, hallelujah. You know how to walk up to people and get them to give you money for nothing? He is Lord. He is Lord. He is Lord.
Get this, I made more money per hour doing that. It took me 10 years when I went back to work to get back up to the level of money that I made.
Oh, my God. That's too funny. What would you pull in on a good day of panhandling?
I averaged $10, $15 an hour.
How many years ago was that?
This is in 1970s.
Dude, you should teach a class for college students. You know what that would be equivalent with nowadays? That'd be like $30, $40 an hour. What college student would not want to learn to make $30, $40 an hour? Under the table, free from Uncle Sam. Dude, we could go into business. I could do... Would you like to make $30 to $40 an hour? Being outdoors?
I make a lot more than that doing what I do.
Huh?
I make more as a computer consultant.
No, I'm pointing to Tammy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Of course, Tammy, I know how you can make $150 an hour, but... No, we're ratcheting the energy up here, see? What's that?
I'm going to bite my tongue.
You're going to bite your tongue? Not quite what I had in mind, but okay. Steve, reach over and give her a big hug, please. She's being so good. We got to love our little Tammy. All right. So, well, let me ask you a question. When you think about your future, where do you see it?
Right now, pretty good.
No, we'll ask it a different way. I want you to think of yourself. Can you think of yourself? When was the last time you brushed your teeth?
This morning.
Can you think of yourself brushing your teeth this morning? Okay. As you see that image, imagine your mind is like a great big movie screen. Where do you see where on the screen do you see the image of yourself brushing your teeth? Point with your hand. Over here? Put my hand on where the image is. Right there? Okay, right there. That's this morning. Okay? Think of yourself brushing your teeth a year ago. Here?
A little higher.
Okay. And think of yourself brushing your teeth a year from now. Okay. So that was this morning. That year ago. Okay. So present, past, future. Is that right? Present, past, future. What is it easiest for him to see? His past. I have this little intuition that you're the kind of guy who dwells on his mistakes. Could be. Is that correct? Am I wrong?
I don't think dwell on them.
How would you properly define them?
I think about them and learn from them.
You think about them and learn from them. Okay, good. Okay, so where's your future again? Right here? Okay. But if we were to put your future straight forward in front of you, just kidding. Okay, we wouldn't do that. Pull it back over here. Okay, so what do you think is preventing you from having the kind of success you'd like to have with speed seduction? Because it doesn't sound to me to be quite blunt that you're fucking any of the women you've met.
No.
Am I wrong?
Well, it's because a lot of them are around work.
Oh, that's smart.
And, I work in an interesting environment because there's a lot of salespeople that have a responsibility, supervisory responsibility.
Right, it's good not to fuck your employees. Can we have a hallelujah? Hallelujah, do not fuck your employees. Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
So that's like the next step is moving out, starting to go other places, being places where I can meet women, basically fair game.
Okay. Fair game, I like that. So what would you have to do to move that out of the realm of something that you're just postulating into the realm of something you're actually doing?
I already started a little bit.
Well, what have you been doing?
Well, last night, as bizarre as it seems, like I went...
Nothing seems bizarre to me anymore.
Not after this seminar.
Not after this
Well, it is. Everybody's thinking of big results. Like last night, instead of staying in my room here or going here or there, I just came down and there were some guys hanging out and I hung out with them and we went out and ate and stuff like that.
Where'd you go?
Across the street over to a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And I've started, doing that a little bit more than I used to.
Just hanging out with...
No, with people.
Good.
Going here and going there, being involved in other things outside of work.
Okay. All right. That's nice, but hanging out with guys probably is not going to get you where you want to go.
Where you go, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's where you go. So are you the kind of person, if I had you imagine a beautiful woman, are you the kind of person who could just walk up and fuck around with her, joke around with her, going, not yet?
In the work environment, I could walk up to her, meet her, and talk to her in terms of that. But to say, in a different kind of situation that I wouldn't.
You wouldn't? Well, okay, that's different than you couldn't. So what specifically prevents you from doing so?
But until yesterday, I would call it fear.
Okay, what do you call it now?
Anticipation, autonomy, fun.
Okay. So I'm just curious. You see, because the thing is this, is people can postulate doing something. But here's the interesting question. What is it that moves us into action? What is it that creates urgency in people? What is it that moves something from being an option that you might one day get around to viewing something as an opportunity that you must move forward and take it or you will lose it forever? Because you see, here's the thing. I've been studying the last 9 months how to create urgency in people without having to drop them in a deep hypnotic trance. Major Mark and I had some discussion about some things, and I said, well, I don't need to do it that way. I'll figure out a way to do it because I can figure out how to do anything. I'm a smart cookie. So how do you create urgency in people? And how do you create urgency in yourself, Marvin?
Fear of loss.
Oh, fear of loss. Interesting. So your way of creating urgency for yourself is fear of loss. Take that microphone. Interesting. Interesting. Fear of loss? So at 54 years old, how many years do you want to keep losing before you're actually out there enjoying meeting women and getting the results? Huh?
None.
Yeah, none. So on the one hand, when you think about that hesitation, well, maybe I'll wait till another time before I'm more prepared, or you think about that loss of yet another year piling up, well, which would you rather have? Or you could have, remember that feeling, that word of resonating and excited anticipation? Resonate that word for me for a minute. Close your eyes and really get that feeling better, better, even better. So open your eyes and look at me. So the thing is, you could have that sense, well, maybe I'll wait it till another time, I'm not quite prepared. Or you could have that, another year. Or you could have, that feeling right there.
That feeling.
What is in that feeling? That's right. So we need to transform that feeling into something else. Because, see, here's the thing. One of the things I'm noticing about him is his responses are sharp enough, but there's no power behind them. It's all locked up in his... If you stand up a minute, buddy. See, he looks like he has a little impact here, like he's a little caved in, like he's taking a little blow here. Yeah? And so all this energy here, all the sadness and frustration, loneliness, whatever it is locked him up. And so he's having to push through that to move forward in the world. Now, if he's in a position of authority with people, that temporarily gets shifted around so it's not in front of him and he can move forward. Because the authority is more powerful than the pain. Correct? Yeah, very true. I know, because now I'm on. I was dancing with him for about 15 minutes, but now I got him. Now that I got him, your ass is mine, boy. See, now I'm going into the zone. See what starts happening? I start defocusing my vision. I start getting very kinetic. I start doing the movements. Okay. That's very true, isn't it? See? So when you can put that authority in front of you, the pain gets behind you, and the authority is something to walk.
It's also sort of way of permission to do things.
Oh, so authority gives you permission. Interesting. Also, you notice as long as he's got the authority in front of him and the pain's back here, his posture is shifted. He's less caved in. Now, take the authority away, put that back, and these are all strangers in front of you, a group of women you've never seen before, and you got to go talk to them. See? How do you see that, Ross? Well, although his posture is actually shifted a little bit for the better anyway, because he's aware of it. So authority gives you what? When you have authority?
Like a
permission.
Or
really? Permission from whom?
Myself, and also to a certain extent from him.
A role to relate out of. Well, I've been a comedian. I've been on a roll. I've had an onion roll. I've had a roll in the hay. All right, have a seat. Sit here.